big truck. Tell them where this plane going.
Now as we land in Montego Bay, it's like that, y'all. Coming from Jamaica, you know that it's a fact, y'all. The truck in case paid, now we rock and ride. Now we sippin' on Bahama Mamas when we ride.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'm your host, Big Truck, here at the King's Table, coming from a place somewhere in the universe. Before I begin, hit the subscribe button, check it out, check out my channel, let me know what you think. You know what we do here as men, we get down to the root of it all, and we just have men discussions, talking about real things. Without further ado, we're gonna dissect this and break this thing down. All right. This is quite interesting, so grab yourself a drink like I did, sit back and watch the show. What do we do as men? We spit fire. Let's get it.
IYANLA, VANZANT, we are so blessed to have you here with us today on the Griot. I want to start, dear, with something that we share, which is that we are both attorneys by trade. You are a lawyer, you have a legal background, and as women in the law, IYANLA, do you believe that lens, that legal lens, informs our perspective and the way we show up in the world as women?
Oh, absolutely, and that's why I got out. Very masculine, very intellectual, almost stripped and robbed of humanity.
Listen to what she said too. Okay, being in the legal field. You know, sometimes you know when you are in the legal field, law enforcement field, you wear, some people wear that uniform even when they're off duty. Catch it. And they bring that home, which will affect their personal life. That's why you always hear the phrase, leave work at work and don't bring work home.
It really shows the dichotomy between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. And for me, it just didn't feed my soul. And so I had to get out.
I feel that, and I do feel that I might have heard on a date or two, IYANLA, that we are not in a courtroom, Ebony. You can put the gavel down, and I do feel it can spill over into the way I show up in my womanhood, which is really the center of this conversation.
And you wonder why your ass is single. Wondering why you can't keep no man. You can attract a man, but you ain't gonna keep him. Let's go further.
Today, IYANLA, we want to discuss masculine energy, feminine energy. I do want to start with kind of a news framing, which is that women's rights across the country, especially black women's rights, they're under attack. Lots of laws are banning abortions. They are regulating what we can and cannot do with our bodies. What do you think happens for black women when this type of siege is at play and we don't feel we have anyone to protect us?
Right. Well, the first thing I think we do is we go into anger. We go into anger without a clear ask. Doesn't make sense to be angry unless you've got to ask. You know, what is it that you're asking for? People can say anything in the world, but that doesn't mean that they get a right to do it. It doesn't mean that they get a right to affect you. But because so many of us are programmed and conditioned and educated to think like men, we respond like men. And when I mean men, I don't mean two-legged beasts. I mean in the masculine energy, and it becomes competitive, it becomes aggressive, it becomes against us, and that's not who we are.
She makes a good point. In here too, it's okay for a woman to say or do something, but not okay for a man. My case in point, meditate on this. It's okay for a woman to have standards. You know, to have a preference of what type of man she wants, which is fine. But as soon as a man states his preference, oh, it's a problem then. He's shamed for it. Well, you want equality, right? Okay. So if somebody breaks into your house, who you gonna call? What are you gonna do? When you need help fixing your car, it's a man that's fixing your car, especially if you're taking your car to a shop. See, this whole feminist thing has gotten out of control. But on the other side, that's okay. It's fair game, free country. So therefore, a man chooses not to deal with you, a man chooses not to deal with you. If a man chooses to go to another community, that's his choice. He's shamed for that. And the majority of the women that are doing the shaming are a large number of black women that are doing the shaming, which is fine. Men still gonna do what the hell they gonna do regardless of what you say. You can react all you want. All you're doing is telling on yourself every step of the way. So the more you telling yourself, of course I'm gonna push a man away. Let's get it.
As women, it just isn't. And I think for black women, particularly for us, the way that we've been programmed and conditioned and educated in this society to expect less, to accept less, to be angry and to complain, but to not really step into our authentic self, our authentic power as women, and create what we want, even if that's create the demand. Oh no, not here, not today.
I want you to watch her facial expressions. It is very important. Facial micros. One thing about working law enforcement, it taught me you can tell deception. You can tell when a person is being truthful. You can tell when a person is lying. You can tell when a person is being fake. Okay? You can tell a person really want to say something, but their facial expression speaks for itself. So they stand down.
I hear you articulating, IYANLA, this masculine energy traits, the competitiveness, the assertiveness. Tell me how you would frame feminine traits. Aggressive.
Grace. Yeah, aggressive, not assertive. It's okay for a woman to be assertive. Grace, first of all. I think we've lost our grace. We move in such a harsh and hard way.
Eyes don't lie.
Compassion, nurturing, nourishment, elegance. How about majesty? How about divinity? How about holiness? This is not a language you hear coming out of most women's mouths. But they'll talk about being a boss, being a diva, being, in charge. And many of us are either not seated in our throne as queens, or we're in the throne and the crown is crooked. Meaning we're in the throne and we don't really know how to hold that place without the masculine aggressiveness and demanding and attachment. And it's killing us. It really is.
And it shows. It shows each and every day. For example, why would I want to date a woman that's masculine like me? I want to date a woman that's feminine. I want to date a woman that's sweet, that's kind, that's romantic and affectionate, caring, loving, nurturing, giving. But also, when it's time to stand her ground, she stands her ground. But let me be a man. Let me lead. We both provide for each other. Let's make that clear. We both provide for each other. We both are caring, loving, kind. We both are romantic and affectionate and nurturing. We both are spiritual, mental, sexual. You notice I said we both. We both bring our incomes to the table and multiply it so that we can have more than enough. It's not about me. It's not about her. It's about us together. Just like in football. That's my teammate. I'm a lineman. I play D tackle. I got another tackle to my right. I got a DN to my left. We all gonna work together on this line. And there's another DN. We run in the forefront. Everything starts with us. Starts with the man up front on defense. If one is out of sequence, the whole line is messed up. The whole defense is off. So we all gotta be on one accord in order to play this play through. And that's how it gotta be even in a relationships or marriage. If you don't got teamwork, I don't know what the hell you got.
So in a recent interview with our dear friends over at the Breakfast Club, that went very viral for very good reason, you said that women are being trained to be men in skirts. I will acknowledge, I will say I was triggered. I was a hit dog and I hollered to the entire production team to get you here today, because I actually think you're right. I think you're right, IYANLA. I do think that, I'll just speak for myself vulnerably. When I think of a masculine posture and what I would expect a man to
watch
do,
IYANLA VANZANT's
two
facial
things come
features
top
as
of
well.
mind, and they are provide and they are protect. And when my lived experience, and I think I'm still relatively young, I guess, but I'm 40 in September. So, you know, I've had some relationships. And I've yet to find a man who has shown, I mean, this includes even my father who was absent. I've yet to have a male energy that provided or protected
Here we go.
consistently ever. So I think that I have taken on the reins to...
I'm gonna stop that right there. She just said it right there. Her father was not present. Whenever a man is not present in a child's life, whether if it's his daughter or son, it shows. Hear me when I say this, kings and queens, it shows. Let's get it.
Protect and provide for myself, because what I'm not going to do, IYANLA, is be without. Baby, it's not happening.
Be without more.
So that would be without protection, and be without the necessities of life.
Okay.
But I say that with an invitation, IYANLA, check me. Show me the error of my ways. Tell me how I might be missing it.
Do you really want her to check you?
Okay.
I don't think so.
I too am an alpha woman. So I understand what that means. And I tell people all the time, I was a horrible mother. I was a great father. And I was a horrible mother because I'd never been mothered. So I didn't know how to affirm, how to nurture, how to nourish, how to guide. I knew how to direct, how to demand, how to discipline, and like you said, provide and protect.
I want to stop right there. That's just like with, with my mother, rekindling our relationship. That's why March 22nd sticks in my brain and my spirit, amongst other things as well. But this particular thing here, when I had to go back and confront my past, what many of us have to do at some point, because you come to a point in your life where you cannot walk into your destiny until you deal with your past, especially if you have unfinished business with your past. You have to deal with that, because your past will show up in your love life in more ways than one. I swear to beans, I could not be making this shit up. Your past will show up in your love life. It will show up in your friendship. It will show up in your work ethics. It will show up on how you live your life day to day. It will show up of the conversations and the words that come out of your damn mouth. It will show up. You let a person talk long enough, they'll tell you everything you need to know. But when I went back and I was able to face my mother, I was able to look her in her face and share with her the things that I've been carrying. We're talking about 25 years of carrying stuff, carrying things. No need to go into detail, but overall, carrying things. My mother told me, she said, son, I was never taught how to be a mother. I am so sorry for the things that I've done to you and for what I've allowed to happen to you. Will you please forgive me? I said, Mom, I love you and I forgive you. I forgive you. That right there. Meditate on that for a minute.
Those are masculine energies. And the distinction here is men build, women create. So we know how to build. We know how to get to the external and get the work done and drive and push and do it. We don't know how to be still, create it, and allow it to come to us.
Woo!
And I learned that when I lost everything. I learned how to create because I had already built and it all crumbled. The house, the husband, the job, the contracts, the professional career in the world, stripped of it all. All the attachments, the necessities of life, the creature comforts, until I was stripped down to the bare bone. And then I had to learn how not to build. Build is external. Create is internal. And we as women have the power to create and attract anything we desire. But we don't get still. We won't shut up. And we manage everything through fear, control, and survival. As opposed to feeling, knowing, and blooming or flourishing. Complete different thing. But since we've never been trained, we haven't been taught. So we do it the way we were taught to do it, which is very masculine in nature.
And very external. I feel that you are describing me to a T, Ms. IYANLA. Now, is this why you are conducting a rites of passage program so that women, all of black women in particular, can learn to create?
Women, so that we can learn our authentic power, that we can learn the distinction between a powerful woman and a woman in her power. There's a distinction, but there are skills and tools and practices and processes that we have to learn. At every age, the 20s have a process, the 30s have a process, the 40s have a 50, 60. We each have a process. And if you don't learn your 20 process, you're going to be doing it at 50. If you don't complete your 30 process, you're going to be doing it at 60. And that means you'll be running on overdrive instead of seated in your power. Yes. And the secrets are there. They come from our culture. They come from our history. But no one has taught us. So me, as a descendant of Africans and Native Americans, I have a very lovely blend and mix. And I just, for a long time, I didn't do it because women in general, they don't want to hear. They think their way is right. And then I'm crazy when I say sit down, shut up, and listen, and you can create what you want. They don't want to hear that.
And a lot of times too, coming from a male standpoint, you know, being Indian, Samoan, Jamaican descent, having the ability to have those ethnics coming together, and also reaching men on a certain level the best way I can. And I ask Elohim every day to bless me with the tools and the knowledge to reach the men. Oldest to the youngest, youngest to the oldest. Because when you share your testimony as a man, what you've been through, and you share it, and you're honest to a T, there is someone out there that's going through something, or they're going through the same things or battling the same things that you've battled, that I've battled. But when you share your testimony, this is how I got through it. This is what I need to do. And once I begin to do that, this is what happened. See, men carry stuff too. Men carry stuff and they move on. But a lot of men don't talk about it. Because a lot of men don't talk about it, it comes out in different ways. And this is why here at the King's table, first off, I always remind men of who they are.